With Gareth Bale coming in for LAFC, what is happening with Carlos Vela? The Dodgers' gimpy bullpen surrenders a comeback, and Kawhi Leonard is described as maniacal in his work ethic, which might be the very first time in his career we've ever heard that said. Hi there, I'm James. This is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is Faithful Angelenos. We are back in the home studio. It is glorious. As you might have noticed from the mess, we are going to be moving the home studio. There's a little bit too much gunfire here for my taste. Oh, the place is well manicured. You look outside, you can't see a syringe anywhere. Not even the shell casings. Just hard to get a good night of sleep when you hear the rat-a-tat-tat all night. Now look, if you like the content we've been putting out about LA sports for the last 4 months, feel free to clickety-clack the like button. Clickety-clack the subscribe button. There's a notifications bell. Hit that. We try to put out new videos between 9 and 10 a.m. every day to let you know it's there. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist. Spread the glory of LA sports. And yes, comment. I ain't perfect. I get it. So before we start talking about the news and notes, let's take a quick look at the scoreboard. Last night, the Dodgers' 4-game winning streak snapped. The Braves won 5-3. The Dodgers are still in first place by a game. Now the Dodgers, they fought back to tie, but in the 8th, in what would have been Daniel Hudson's spot, but he's injured, well, they threw somebody else out there. Marcell Ozuna hits a 2-run home run, and then there's Kenley Jansen. Jansen went to Atlanta from LA because Commissioner Rob Manfred doesn't know what the hell he's doing. Door gets shut. There has been a profound drain on the Dodgers bullpen. You take a look at Hudson, who got hurt Friday, blew out his knee. We'll get to more on that in a bit. The reason he became the late inning guy is he had to step up when Tommy Conley got injured. Conley stepped up when Blake Trinan got hurt. Now, this is the thing. This is one of the reasons why I've been saying all along that I wouldn't panic that the Dodgers haven't boat raced the division yet. To me, as long as the Dodgers are in first place, whenever they get anything even remotely resembling health, remotely resembling homeostasis, then they'll smash the rest of the league. But we'll get to more of that in a moment. Sparks 85, Seattle 77. I didn't see it coming. And when you look at the ratings for the WNBA, nobody sees anything coming. Meanwhile, today, the Dodgers will play the Braves. It's the ESPN game. It's at 4 o'clock. Tony Gonsolin looks to go 10-0 against Spencer Strider, 3-2. And LAFC hosts New York Red Bulls in what might be Carlos Vela's last game. That will take place at noon. Speaking of LAFC, yesterday while I was at an airport, we put out a special report on European striker Gareth Bale announcing that he's coming to LAFC in July when his contract with Real Madrid expires. As a matter of fact, his first game is expected to be in an El Tráfico versus LAFC, July 8th. Now, I don't want to repeat all the details of the special report. It's on the LAFC playlist for the channel, where we go into a little bit of detail and this, that, and the other. But for all the talk about how the black and gold got an elite score without using a designated player spot, this move does carry some risk. Because you know the one thing that we're not hearing about the move? Nobody in Real Madrid is happy, is sad. Nobody in Real Madrid is sad to see him go. So consider this. Gareth Bale, back in 2013, joins Real Madrid. He was the most expensive soccer transfer in history at that point. $106.5 million. And now he's coming to LAFC where he's probably going to make minimum wage? What? I mean, like when the game is over, he's going to be a security guard at Ross Dress for Less to pad his resume? What are we talking about? Now, Bale was once known for speed. He was arguably the fastest player in soccer. He excels at set pieces, Yes, he's known for scoring goals. I'm not trying to downplay that. I'm not even trying to say it's a bad signing. We just don't know. But here's the thing. Now he's known for missing a lot of games and making enemies. You could argue that Zlatan Ibrahimovic made enemies during his time with the LA Galaxy, and that's fair. But unlike Bale, he is most definitely missed. And now there comes another question for LAFC that has yet to be answered. What about Carlos Vela? See, within minutes of Bale's agreement getting signed with LA, ESPN analyst Taylor Twellman goes to Twitter and announces Vela finally signed a contract that he agreed 2 months ago. But then his bosses at ESPN were like, nah, we don't have that verified yet. And LAFC is going out saying, well, we don't have an announcement. We should have one in a couple of days. Folks, a couple of days is June 30th. That's when Vela's contract expires. So for Carlos Vela, who is LAFC's leading scorer by a country mile, he's been extremely good for them. He's been their franchise player. There's today against New York and Wednesday versus FC Dallas. Originally, I thought the Bale signing was a shot to Vela. Hey, pal, sign the contract you agreed to, or screw you, we're moving on. That's what I originally thought. Then I get on the plane, and I rethought it. Now, maybe Vela didn't sign because he wanted LAFC to get him some help. The team never replaced Diego Rossi. Both theories, at that point, equally plausible. But if Taylor Twellman is wrong, if Vela didn't immediately sign, then the Mexican striker doesn't give a damn if Bale is coming. And what does that mean? So then you ask yourself, if Carlos Vela is gone, maybe, and if Bale pulls his disappearing act again, there is considerable risk for LAFC. Signing Bale could go either way. It could create a super team in MLS, or it could fizzle. The same way that the Steven Gerrard signing was originally supposed to help the LA Galaxy score 5 times a game, and it didn't happen. Talk about the Dodgers a little more. We mentioned relief pitcher Daniel Hudson getting injured. His scan showed a clear tear of the anterior cruciate ligament in his knee. He is gone for 6 to 9 months. He wants to come back. Previously, he came back from Tommy John surgery. He doesn't want this to be the end of his career. In recovery news, we mentioned earlier that Dustin May might return in August. Also, possibly available in August, pitcher from rehab, pitcher Danny Duffy, reliever Tommy Conley, and Victor Gonzalez. Options to step in for Hudson might be Yency Almonte. But he's only pitched 18 1/3 innings this year. He's been terrific, but that's a small sample size. Evan Phillips is also an in-house option. Website The Athletic has listed 11 possibilities through trade, but the reason I'm not going to suggest trades is because the trade deadline is August 2nd. I don't anticipate franchise-saving trades in June. If you look at that so-called buy low, sell high perspective, the Dodgers making a big trade now would smack of desperation. They would overpay. It's a big disadvantage. You make buy high, sell low trades if, say, you're 5, 7, 10 games out of first, not when you lead the division. Go to the NBA. Now, when I was living in Hollywood, bombing as a comic, sometimes the comics and I would play a game with each other. We would take a random topic and then go on stage and try to say something funny that has never been mentioned in human history. And then we'd all go out and fucking bomb just to amuse ourselves, just so we could watch each other fail. It was great. I bring that up because here's something never said before in human history. Kawhi Leonard is, quote, maniacal in his work ethic, according to the Clippers. Yeah, in his recovery from a torn ACL in the right knee. Now, there's no timetable yet, but allegedly he's a maniac on the floor, dancing like he's never danced before. I'm a tad skeptical. Just saying. Darvin Ham wants Russell Westbrook to put defense first with the Lakers. Yeah, that's not happening. Side note, somebody who covers USC basketball wrote that there will be Trojans fans who will start to watch more Cleveland Cavaliers basketball since they drafted both Mobley brothers from USC. Oh, I would. I'm just too busy watching all this G League from all the ex-UCLA players going there. I mean, come on, guys. Stop it. The Cleveland Cavaliers. If you watch 1 minute of Cavaliers basketball in the hopes of seeing both Mobley brothers on the court at the same time, you got a problem. You do need your family to step in. You do need to open a book. There's a list of 4 players for the LA Kings. They must continue to be breakout players for LA to make the playoffs again, according to a website. It's a little bit of a silly premise. You don't break out and then become a breakout player again and then break out and break out and break out. That doesn't happen. You break out and you sustain if you're lucky. More likely, you break out and then you fall back a little bit. That's more in line with sports history. But here's the thing. The columnist for the HockeyWriters.com didn't use that column to discuss, quote, young players breaking out. See, Philip Deneau is not exactly a breakout player. He was on the list. I don't want to claim the guy doesn't know his hockey. Okay? That's not where I'm trying to go. He did go on to mention that Adrian Kempe is going to be hard-pressed to match his 35 goals from last year. True. Very true. And, oh, by the way, Kempe doesn't play defense, so he could regress. He does need to sustain for LA. I also think Trevor Moore has to push himself to stay in the top 6 forwards for LA. So, yeah, I accept that. But the columnist also mentioned Mikey Anderson has to maintain, because when you're paired with such a wild card as Drew Doughty, you have to really focus in on your own game to make up for all the risks that Doughty takes. So overall, the Hockey Writers column is decent. It's a strong list. But Philip Deneau isn't a breakout player. Just saying. If there's anything that needs to break out, it's got to be somebody from the Dodgers bullpen. Let's be real. Now, if you enjoyed today's episode, then by all means, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We're trying to build something here for LA sports. I'm James. Thanks for watching. Faithful Angelenos is a Kian Corte El Queso production. We'll be back tomorrow. Take care.